guys. I honestly, first of all, before I even begin my talk, I really empathize with the situation you're in. And just bear with me, Malish. Just allow me to do this. Can you please stand up? Malish, it's all right. It's all right. Let's just do this. Let's just try to get some blood flowing. I'm not a life coach or a personal trainer or anything. Don't be confused. And then just kind of stick your hands up there without hitting the person in front of you, and let's just like do like 10 times. Just try to get the blood flowing. Once you get the 10 times, just kind of roll your neck around. Remember that butter chicken curry you just had for lunch, the cup of coffee, 5, 6 times, and then please have a seat. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, thank you very much for listening to our talk here. My name is Fadi Al-Hindi. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Takaful Imarat. I'm a new Chief Executive Officer, actually. I've been with the company for about a year. My job was, I was actually hired from outside the insurance industry, which the whole point was to actually bring new ideas and reinvent the way that we look at insurance. So I'm here today to share our journey and our story with you guys of what we have done with AI and what we have done with digital transformation and data. And our big idea for you is that you guys, I don't know, the whole conference has been about concepts and theories. That's wonderful. And you go to do the research. All that is great. But our one message that we can give you is jump in the pool and start trying things out. Because that's where I believe a lot of the companies get stuck. I know from my experience of 28 years of theorizing about things versus actually trying to do something about it and failing, right? We talk about failure. So this is our story that we will be sharing with you. Okay, so I mentioned that Takaful Imarat board wanted to really transform the way that the company is currently operating. And it's no surprise that insurance is one of the most lagging industries, unfortunately, as far as change and transformation. We know that. People usually deal with their insurer in one or two ways, usually once, and then, which is about at the time of buying or renewing insurance, and a second time, God forbid, for filing a claim. That's usually when you deal with your insurer, and it's not a very positive experience. So people don't like to deal with their insurer. They just cringe at the time that they have to. She's laughing, so she agrees. At the time that they have to contact the call center. So we know that unless we as an industry make a radical change, somebody's going to come and change us, be it Amazon or Apple or who knows. So the idea was come in and start this digital disruption for Takaful Imarat from the top. And this is when I was hired. So my experience is actually all digital transformation, business consulting and digital transformation and business transformation. And I came in and our objective was let's start at the top and then let's make sure that digital transformation, AI and data and all of that is not a vertical run to our strategy. It's actually our strategy. Like it's baked into the way that we operate every day. For my chief operating officer, for my chief commercial officer, everybody is thinking digital and we have to run the traditional business. And I'm not gonna lie. We have to have salespeople. We have to have agents. That's gonna continue and they'll be out there. But the way that we are rebuilding internally is all about how can we get these digital channels ready for, in order for us to be able to create these differentiated products and services. Now, there are two things that are, the whole conference obviously about artificial intelligence, and we're here to share with you what we have done. But I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about data. And for insurance companies, actually, there's a trend that's coming. You all have heard about it as well. It's all the sensor data that's coming from consumers, be it from their cars or their watches or their homes. 1 billion sensors by 2025, give or take, whatever statistic you subscribe to. And then the zettabytes of data that we're expecting to see that's going to be a flood of insights that could be turned into insights about the consumer, the way that we take risks, the way that we eat, the way that we sleep, the way that we exercise. So this is very good news for us as insurers because now we can start building products that the consumers actually want. And if you look at the direction that the insurance is headed, people want, I mean, this is like, if we fast forward, people want on-demand insurance. They want to be able to turn insurance on or off. I'm going jet skiing, so I'm going to buy a policy for 2 hours. I'll switch it on. I'll go do my jet skiing, then I'll switch it off. I mean, again, this is if you fast forward into the future. So these sensors are going to give us the ability to provide these advanced products and services. So this is really good news for us. But wait a minute, what about existing data, right? So we're talking about data because it's a starting point for AI. What about existing data that we have in the organization? One of the interesting things that we found in that if you take the existing data, you don't have to invest in new things. You don't have to go and buy the IoT devices and the platform. If you just look at what you currently have in your ERP systems, your customer service systems, and so on, it's a gold mine of data if you can activate it. And when we started looking at our data, started looking at our data sets, we started looking at the gaps, looking at how current is this data, looking at how can we convert this data to more live, how can we bring it alive? And this is actually the project that we started in the beginning of last year. We call it Phantom. Just, you know, I like to give names to these things. So the idea of Phantom is that it's this kind of like drone in the sky that's giving us real-time view of what's happening in our enterprise. This runs in our offices. There's 2 massive dashboards. Some of the people that have visited probably have seen them, one on the first floor, one on the ground floor. This gives us real-time data about sales, collections, sentiment from Facebook, Twitter, feed, you name it. It's about real-time data of what's happening, not weekly, not daily, what's happening hourly. And and it's been just a phenomenal impact on the organization because we are shifting and pushing everybody to become more data-driven than gut feel. We want people to actually say, look, see, this is why I think we should do 1, 2, 3. Not, well, Fadi says, I think we should do this, but it's not based on anything. Becoming data-driven is super cool because it takes a lot of the emotional charge out of making decisions because you're looking at data. And this dashboard examples is like the number of policies that we're selling per day, and per hour, we can see it, basic policy, advanced policy, collections, of course. We have to see who's not paying their bills and so on. But now this is available. All of our C-levels can see it. So with the avalanche of data of these sensors coming in, right, and the existing data that we have, it is not humanly possible to be able to process and analyze all this data. So we know that the role of AI really comes here. So we're saying that if you make sure that you have the right data to actually feed into a system, an algorithm, then AI can actually become the mechanism by which you can deal with this processing of large volumes of data. So how did we go about it? If you remember what I said at the beginning, jump in. Like jump in the pool and start trying these things out instead of waiting and perfecting. We adopted one of my heroes and business gurus of our time, Tom Peters, talk about a strategy called ready, fire, aim. Okay, ready, fire, then aim. I know it's like an oxymoron, but the idea of this is based on 30, 40 years of research into innovative companies and what they've done. And what he had discovered is that they don't perfect everything before they actually try something. They throw it, they try it, and if it fails, they try something else, and then they try something else. And this is exactly what we ended up doing at Takaful Imarat, obviously not with policy holders or whatever, but about things that we wanted to bring with AI and data. So one of the good examples, and I always like when I give talks to share real-world examples rather than theories, so that you can see the concept and see what's happening, how you can actually apply it on the ground. We did this insane, extreme experiment for a company meeting that we actually had in this hall, but it was also the other side. We had the entire company here. And over a period of 2 weeks, we went from scratch, nothing that we had, all the way to a deployable application in iOS, and you can access through the web for those that like Samsung, but we're not going to talk about that. And in that application, we had everything from like location, pin, lunch menu, agenda, speakers, and we had a chatbot that we wanted to deploy in production on our website, but we didn't know how we could get started. So over those period of 2 weeks, it really pushed us over the edge. I mean, it was insane because it was a lot of hard work and a lot of working at night, etc. But the benefit is on the tail end of that, we came out with 80% knowing what is required for us to take that chatbot to production. And actually, you can go to tlife.ae and click on the little T-Bo icon. We call him T-Bo, T-Bot. And that is the result of that particular experiment. So this is where we're saying that convert, do this ready, fire, aim, because it can really help you get going. So the manual data analysis, you can see the message that I'm coming to. AI, we see it as the ability for us to shift the mundane work that's currently being done by people over to machines and give free people up to actually work on more intelligent tasks and work on value-adding activities. So there are four use cases that I'm going to share with you, as well as the chatbot that I just shared with you, around what we've done in insurance. And this is like real life information. This is not like made up. So this is what we're currently doing in production with our data scientists and our guys. The first one is building a machine that can predict the claims that we're going to be received. So claims, for those that are not aware of the industry, the insurance lingo, claims are when you file for medical reimbursement, or my car, God forbid, got hit and I want you to repair it. That's a claim. So this machine was fed 5 years of data of health claims, and then an algorithm, basically a pattern, came out of it, and an algorithm that whenever we're pricing a new policy, whenever somebody comes and wants to buy a health policy, we feed the parameters to the machine, and the machine spits out a pricing and a prediction. And when compared to our, senior, multi-year experienced underwriters, the people that price the policies, it's about 85% accurate, and it does it in a matter of seconds, right? So we're expecting this to improve, obviously, as we continue to progress, time, so it gets to 90%, 95%. We don't want to replace the underwriters, but what we want to do is we want this to start giving the underwriters one more data point to say, okay, what did the AI tell me? What did I price it? If there's such a big variance, they should take a step back and say, we might have miscalculated something. Either the machine is wrong or I'm wrong. And I should spend some time to look at the way that this policy has been priced. Because trust me, 1% claims reduction means profit or loss sometimes. So this is a very, very good outcome from that particular use case. The second one that we did was related to fraud detection. Usually at the end of the month, at the end of the 30 days, all the health, everything that you've gone to the hospitals and the pharmacies and is basically all sent back to the insurance company. And what we have to do is we have to go through that data and we have to make sure that all the payments reconcile, etc. But in addition, we can use it to detect fraud. What could be fraud in health insurance? Somebody using somebody else's card, medicine being prescribed that's not for a particular case, whatever. So we've built a machine, same thing, we fed a lot of data, working with our operations people. Now this is the other cool thing, by the way, if I may share with you. The thing that we've done at Takaful Imarat is that we've opened up the offices, so we have no walls, no cubicles, no nothing. I sit with everybody else. There's, high-speed voice technology, we just shout at each other when we want to do things. So the AI, digital team, and operations team are all sitting together. So this stuff was figured out by constant back and forth, but like in real time. They were able to find, we used to cover about 10% of the claims we used to audit. So roughly 10% of all the claims, potentially hundreds of thousands of lines, were being audited by our team. Now, the machine that we built audits 100% of all the claims. It's a little bit inaccurate, it's about 67%, but it's auditing all the lines, right? Now this is still in, Thair here? This is still in pilot. Yani it's in a pilot mode, but at least we're running it and we're improving it. So we can audit all of the lines. So instead of having 10% audit, I'm doing 100% audit with a 67% accuracy. So at least the mundane activity of manual auditing goes away, and then whatever the machine is kicking out is what the team will go focus on. So much more niche, focused deployment of people and skills. And you've seen so many diagrams and so many images today with the machine and the human hand in hand and yada, yada, yada. This is how we're thinking about it. We're thinking that this should become a complement to the way that our people operate, not a replace, which is what everybody's worried about. I'm going to be replaced by a robot. The third one is outliers detection. It's a little bit linked to the fraud detection, which basically it runs through all the claims that are filed, and it tries to find extreme cases and kicks those out. You know, there's a pattern of something that's extremely not out of the ordinary. So it kicks it out again for a human to review. And this is also, it's about 90% accurate now. So this actually went up, I guess, since the last time we did the slides. That's good. The market sentiment analysis and prediction is based on the phantom dashboards that I told you, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on and so forth, what's coming through the call center. What we can basically do is we could actually pinpoint where the comments and what are customers saying about products and services, to where we can actually start plotting new features or expectations of how we can improve our service. It's not, again, it's not that accurate, but as I said, I'm being open with you guys to let you know where we are. So it's about 50% of the customer needs are being identified, to a great extent. And I think the way that we do that is we can verify with the customers if we've hit on the right things or not along the way. So back to my earlier, comment. I recognize that you have a lot of initiatives. I mean, you're no different. We're no different than any other organization. You have a lot of projects. You have a lot of things going on at the same time. And kicking off yet another project is a very challenging endeavor. But our belief is that the best way to be able to move forward with AI, data and AI, is to actually just start, as we say, just jump in the pool and just start doing it. We recognize that if we don't disrupt insurance, as Takaful Imarat, we know we might not be relevant in 5 or 10 years. So we know we have to do it. So this is the mindset that we've adopted, and we think anybody can do it. We think our hypothesis to you, or our statement to you, is that if you can start by doing this ready, fire, aim on your data first, because you need data to be able to have fuel for your machine, and then doing your machine learning second, you'll actually be able to see results in 90 days. It doesn't have to be a long-lasting 2-year project kind of a thing. And our destination as Takaful Imarat is tap, tap, done. So what we want actually is once we have your profile with us, but the minute you want insurance, you should be able to open our app, say, insure my quad bike for 4 hours, pay, done. That's what we're aiming for. Thank you very much.